everybody aware of that now.
I did read that.
Okay, so we're going to get started here. As part of an introduction, this is part 3 of our 3-part series. And today we're going to be talking about help support, records, and the Wiki. Also, just to let you know that we did get the first 2 classes on YouTube, and that's available. If you look at the email that Brother Hodgson sent out early Monday morning, it has the link to YouTube, so you can go there and as you desire, you can view those classes that we presented. So we're going to get started here, and if anybody at any time has a question as we're going, if you'll just raise your hand. Let's see. We didn't quite get set up here, so we'll take just a second to get to Family Search. Okay. Well, I guess we'll be on Pam's.
Hello.
I was so concerned about getting everything set up that for everybody to see that I forgot to set up Family Search. Okay. All right. So if you attended the first class, or if you've looked at the first class on YouTube, we talked about the helps section up here by clicking on the little circle with the question mark in it. Well, the week after we gave that class, Family Search completely revised the help section. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more. At least usually when Pam does a class, she gets everything prepared, gets her notes all ready, and the day before she goes in and looks at it, and they've changed everything. So at least it was afterwards. So we're going to click on the help section here, and you're going to get this pop-up screen, and you can type in anything in here if you want. If you have a question or comment or looking for some specific thing, you can type it in there. You might want to just click on this. We've updated our help menu, and click on the Learn More, and see how they've changed things and stuff like that. So we're gonna go down here to the Help Center. And the first thing you're going to have then is this box here where you can type in a question or just something that you want to try to find out about. And below that are the frequently asked questions. These are generally the ones that are asked most often. And so this may change from time to time. So we're going to now go to search by topic. And you'll see here that there's certain ones here that have family tree, memories, searching records, family search account, and indexing. And if you click on view all, you'll see all the rest of them. The family search partners that we talked about, you click on that to gain access to the websites, the subscription websites for free. And then there's all these other areas that you can look at. Okay. So if you have a question about temple work, you click on that one. There's online courses that you can view. And I think that's, there's one that I was going to, scrolling down, in-person help. So if we click on this one, you're going to get what is available here in the local area. So we have local family history centers, and it would normally list the ones that are available close by. There are the multi-state temple and family history consultants, and if you click on this one, it will show the individuals, it's brother and sister, who are the area family history consultants. And then you have the stake temple and family history consultants, my wife, myself, and Sister Miller. And then if you click over here on your specific ward, you can find out who your temple and family history consultants are in your ward. And you can go to them and ask them for help. So those are some of the in-help things that are available. Go back. Again, there's the community that you can go to, and that's the same as the community that's up above that we talked about. So I'm not going to go into that one. Let's see. There's one that should say contact us. I'm trying to find it here. Well, I can't find it. No, that's not the one I need. That tells you, just gives you the hours and the phone numbers of the people. And you can do a chat support. And basically it's a chat. I mentioned that in the first class that we had. They've done away with the email version. So there's not an email version now of contacting support. They may not have enough people or something like that to handle all the emails that are coming in. Okay, so here's the United States. Gives you the schedule of when they are available or when they're closed. And up here in this area, it gives you the hours that they are available for chat.
So you'll be talking to a person.
Yes.
Mission.
All right.
Lynn, can you go back to that phone number just for a second? In case I can't find the screen.
Okay.
406 is like 8:46, 18:30, the day the church was started is what.
That's all you have to remember.
406.
The date the church was organized. With the 866 for the area code. All right. There's another one that I wanted to look at here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't find what I wanted to look at right now. So there are some links at the bottom, basically of just about every page in Family Tree. Okay, here we go. So we did the contact us, the helper resources. This is what I wanted. Okay, so here you've got articles, recent articles for members of the church about family, specifically about family history that you can look at. We also have changes and new features to Family Search that you can view. And the community, again, that's is the community that we talked about earlier. So I'm not going to talk about that. So you've got all these other links here that you can go to. There's, if you have a family history, Temple and Family History calling, you can go on that and get information. These were leadership meetings that were given, and those are good to look at, review. And there's training over here that talks about how to use FamilySearch.org, indexing, family history basics, and things like that. You have quick links here, easy invitations. That is where you can display board members who have opportunities to click on it here. So it will display board members that have opportunities, either messages or discovery experiences. And if we scroll far enough along, we might even find somebody that has a temple opportunity. That this is more for the Temple and Family History consultants to be able to find people that have information that will help them. There are other articles here that talk about everything else, searching genealogies, Family History Center Operations Guide. These are, like I said, a lot of these have to do with Temple and Family History consultants. There's another part up here. Again, it's for a family history consultant where it's a planner that you can help somebody. And so you could put somebody in here. I helped my wife's cousin's wife some time ago, and so it lists the people that you would have helped. Down at the bottom, I mentioned a little bit. There's these links here that are usually on just about every page on Family Search. One of them is the blog, and if we go to the blog, it's going to talk about different things that are being done and articles that somebody has written. about new things that are available. And so you can go through these and look at them, and you may find some uh, uh, good information to help you in your family history work. The other one is the Solutions Gallery, and the Solutions Gallery has different apps that you can get for your phone or for your computer to help do just about anything you want to help you in family history. They have one for charts where you can get a lot of different types of charts for family history. These are games that you could do as for a family home evening. Family tree management, these are going to be applications that like programs where you can put your own family history in, and you can, in this one, these, you can actually put your living people in here with all your children and grandchildren and things like that. Some of them are, they have a free version, and if you click on the more, it's going to give you a whole bunch more other ones. There's like Roots Magic and Ancestral Quest and other apps where you can manage your own family tree. Again, these are LDS access. This is another way to find those apps that are subscription websites that we get for free. And then there's things for how to do photos and stories and research assistance. Many of you may have heard of Bazilla. There's some other ones also. And so there's all of these here that are available to you. Anybody have any questions on help support?
After those little dots underneath them.
Here?
No, yeah.
That means there's more of them. There's more apps. So if you click on here, you could actually you could click on charts right here and click more, and it's going to give you a whole bunch more. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back, and we're going to talk about records for the next few minutes. On the handout that I gave, there's a couple of sayings that genealogists have. One of them is genealogy without sources is mere mythology. Another one, he who has the most sources wins. So there's three types of records that we have. There's primary records, there's secondary records, and then there's background records. So examples of primary records would be birth records, marriage records, death records. A primary record basically is a record that was created at or near the time of the event. That's not written in here.
Oh.
Okay. I remembered this after I printed it out. So a primary record, again, is a record that was created at or near the time or place of the event. Secondary records were created sometime after. So a census record, if you're looking at a census record at birth dates on years of birth or something like that, that's a secondary record, because obviously a father of a family on a census record, that birth date is going to be way in the past. However, a census record also can be a primary record because it shows a family at a specific time and area right now. Okay, does that make sense? All right. And then there's background records, land records, school records, tax records, probate records, just about anything that basically gives you more information about the individual.
What are family histories, family letters, things like that?
What are, okay, family letters. If they're giving you information about birth dates and stuff, again, they're going to be secondary because that letter was not created when that person was born or where it was born. Okay? So that's a secondary record. All right. Now, if we go to a person page, I'll go in here and I'll go to my tree and go to my grandfather. Oh, I'm going to do something else. As an example for records that are available on a person page. So we're going to, I was working on this guy this week, and it had a lot of information that would be an example today. Okay, so we're going to go to him and to his person page. And over here in the research help, it shows that there's 15 articles or 15 different records that might be available to him, for him. And so one of them is a Texas birth record. So if we click on this, it's going to take us to a record, and it's going to show him with his wife, and it's actually a record for his son, Gunnar Phillip. Okay, and so we can add this by going down and click on Review and Attach. And there's not a lot of information here about the dad other than his birth date. And so we may not want to add that one. We could put in here father of Gunnar Phillip. Okay. But if we go down here, and it looks like I already attached it to him. And so let me detach, and then we're going to.
And that says detached, not attached.
I know,
You said
I
it's
said,
going to
I'm going to detach
Then
it.
you'll attach it back. Where
Yeah.
did it show that it was attached? Does
It
show
says,
that-
because it says it's
there.
detached, it's,
Okay.
I'm going to go up here and do another one. Is that, no, it's not that. So I could do find a grave. Okay. And here it's going to show the burial, where he was buried. He was 71 years old. And you can actually go and click, if you click on this, it will take you to the image on Find a Grave, which it'll actually show you the gravestone and other information. And if we want to review and attach, okay. So here we've got a burial, and it's a little bit different than this one, but because this is from the actual graves cemetery, I would probably take this one over this one. And I would have to go in and remember that to type it in, and then you can just, it shows here that it has his birth information and burial information. So in here you would put in just a little explanation of why you want to attach this. And then you would click attach. Okay?
Okay, now that gives when he was buried, not necessarily when he died, or is that date the day he died?
That was his burial. That was his burial. I just gave the year. Okay? So you can attach records. But let's say if you go up here to Carl, and you come across a record, let's see, we can show all of them by click all 14. And it will open up a page showing all of the records that are available there. And you can see that a lot of these birth records have to do with the children of Carl and his wife, Anna. But let's say you go in here and you find a record, and you look at it, and you decide it's not a record for this individual. If you do that, if you find that, then you click on not a match, and it would remove that record from this page. Okay?
Okay, now it gives the spouse's name.
I have the spouse and the child because it's a birth record for a child, and it shows the parents.
Okay, so from that, can you look at the age that he is and put him at about 20 and estimate a marriage date?
Well, because it's going to show you, no, you don't want to do estimates unless you can't find any records. Because if you get the last child that was born, they had 10 children, and you go back 20 years from the birth of that child, and he's going to be about 7 years old when he has his first child. So you don't want to do that.
Question. On the other source that you had
Mhm.
from Find a Grave, you said we could click on it and see the grave marker.
Okay.
Can you review how we would, from that screen, how we could attach that to the individual?
Well, you attach it with that, by attaching that link there that we looked at.
Is that a free service or we do?
Yes. No, it's free. Okay, so let me go back
So you
here.
wouldn't see it on the memories part of the individual, you would see it under sources.
Yes. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to go to that Find a Grave. Since we attached it, you click on View Source, and if you click here on it gives you the web page where it shows it, and if you click, let's see. Okay, you click on that. There you go. It takes you to the gravestone. Okay.
And then how do you put that?
You don't put this. You've already put. Well, you would have to do a screenshot and paste it into your memories. Okay. So the question is, how would you take this gravestone and put it in memories? Okay. So what you would do, you would have to do a screenshot of this page, then edit it somehow so that you just have the pictures that you want instead of the whole page.
If you right click on the picture,
Now you can copy the image, yeah. So you can copy the image and then paste it into the memories. Okay? All right. Now, you can search additional records in the search records section. So let's go here to Carl. And in the search records section, let's say you want to look at ancestry. Now I will tell you that you can also click on family search and it'll search records, and then if you find a record, you can just link it right into that person. Okay. But if you find a record on any other website, such as Ancestry, then there's a thing that we're going to show. I'm going to show you here how you can move that record into Family Tree in just a minute. But so you can click on Ancestry. And it will open up and it will start searching for the person that you were just looking at. Okay? And so you can scroll through here, and if there's not any records that were not on Family Search, then you could add these. But if you think the record is in Family Search and just about all the census records are in Family Search, you'd want to go you'd want to take that record from Family Search and not from Ancestry. Okay? I'll tell you that Ancestry, a lot of times you can find records a lot easier in Ancestry because of the search engine parameters that they have are a lot better than ones in Family Search. And so a lot of times I'll go straight to Ancestry and search for records. And then if I think that that record is in Family Search, then I'll go search for that specific record. Okay? And it's a little faster doing that way. Even the people in the Family History Library tell you to search Ancestry because they've got a better search engine. Okay, so you can do the same thing for Find My Past or any of the other records that are available. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of some of these. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about how you can attach records from any website into Family Tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, go to a website called recordseek.org or .com, and it's on the handout. So I'm going to create a new one here, and we're going to go. Okay, so it'll take you to this page right here. Now this is very easy to do. Once you get to this page, you're going to take this, you're going to click on this where it says Record Seek, this button. You're going to click on it, and you're going to drag it up to your address bar. And you're going to drop it in. Okay? And now, okay, down at the bottom, there's this button, and you're just going to click on it and drag the whole thing up here to your address bar, and then just release your button, and it will automatically put it here in. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So now we don't need this this page anymore. So we're going to. Okay. So we're going to go back to Carl here, and we're going to look at some additional records. So we're going to click on the search tab. Up here, and we're going to click on records. All right. So I'm going to I'm going to type in my dad's name there because I found a record that I didn't know was available. And when you're looking for information, there's a motto that says, less is best. So a lot of times, if you put in a lot of information about the individual, you're not going to find much. So I'm just putting where he was born and the year he was born. And then I'm going to click search. And the records that I found have to do with, let's see, this one right here. This is my dad was in the military, and this is a muster roll. And if you click on it, it gives this information. And you can go down here, you can see the original information. You could click on that and open it up and look at it. And you can click attach to family tree. So now it's going to look for possible individuals that record would go to. So it's not here. It's not showing him. So if I go down further, let me think. I was going to. Let me go back here. I got to get right down my dad's person ID number. Click on just that ID number and copy it. Go up here and paste it in and select. Okay?
If you could put his whole name in there, his middle names.
Yes, if I'd put his whole name in there, it would have found him probably.
It would have found him?
Yeah. Okay? And so all I have to do is click on add and go down here and put in a little reason why I'm adding it. And click attach. And now that record is attached to my dad. Okay, so that's how you attach records that are in Family Search that have been indexed. Okay?
So you've attached these records, then you'll find them in memories,
No, you'll find it in the sources.
sources.
Okay? That's all we're doing is we're attaching stuff to sources today. All right. So we're going now to unindexed records. Okay? So there are, I think Sister Ingram Matson talked about that last week about there's records that are indexed, there's records that have been digitized but not indexed. And so that's what we're going to look at here just real quickly. So these are records that are not indexed but are available to you. So we're going to go to the search, we're going to go to records, we're going to go click on browse all published collections. And if we look here, if there's not a camera, it hasn't been digitized, or it hasn't been indexed. But there's this record here that says it's been digitized, but because it says browsed images, it has not been indexed. But if you think you have somebody here in this set of records, you would click on it and go through the records. It says there's 300,000 records, but if you click on browse through the images, it's going to break it down by the county. So if we take a county, and then it's going to break it down even smaller sections. Okay, so if you had somebody that died in 1850 in this county, you would find it, if there was a probate, you would find it in this county, and you would click on it. And now you only have to browse through 689 records versus thousands of records. So this is kind of like if you're searching through a microfilm, okay? But you can, it's also not like a microfilm because you can go over here and say, I want to go to image 300 and just see where it is. You type in 300 and it goes to it. And you'd have to look at it. And if you find a record that does belong to your person, you would click attach to family tree, and then you would type in the person who it belongs to. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay. I'm going to turn the time over to Sister Inger Manson, and she's going to finish talking about the wiki. The wiki. All right.
Before you leave, sit right down there and show them you can download the video, not attached to tree.
Okay, you can download it.
Print it.
And so then you click on it and open it up, and you can print it. Okay? All right.
Why would we want to print it? I thought we were
Yes.
putting
Well,
it,
not
some-
that necessarily, there might be something that you want to print, not necessarily that one, but you may find something that you want to print. Because lots of people are still printing things and keeping hard copies of them, it just depends on.
See,
It's
that's
hard
what
to
I'm-
make,
yeah,
it's hard to make the transition. I used to be a paper person.
yeah, and
And
that's what I
so-
need to do.
So it's, you just have to, but some things you may want to make a copy if you're doing a notebook or something that you want to keep or give to people or, you know, whatever it is. Okay, so I am now on here. So you got back into mine, Lynn? Okay, thank you. We're going to be talking about the Family Search Research Wiki. Now, this is where you're going to go to help you find ways of doing better research, where to go to look for records, where records are kept. It's like a giant Wikipedia. It's after Wikipedia, but it's the largest genealogy Wikipedia that there is in the world. It's patterned after Wikipedia. So it's where you're going to learn to do research and where to find the records that you want to look at to see if you can find your family in those records. There are no names of individuals and no names of families. It is not, you're not going to find your family in the wiki, but you're going to find where you can go to find records of your family so that you can see if they're in those records. So you use the wiki if you want, if you're looking for information on a location, where they are living, where they've lived, where they've traveled, whatever, places that they have been in their lives, or different topics. We're going to talk about each one of these in just a minute. So record collections. Len was just showing you the record collections, all those ones that had the cameras down the side and stuff. Those are all record collections. And each one of those record collections has a wiki page that explains about what that collection is, what you can expect to find in that collection, maybe even what you won't find, so that you know, you go and look at it before you jump in so that you can see if what you're looking for is going to be there. For instance, if you're looking for your mother, a maiden name of someone, it's going to talk about what names are in that. And if it doesn't have maiden names or whatever, there's no reason to go and look at that collection because you're going to be wasting your time because the information you're looking for is not there. It's also, there's a new thing called guided research, and that's for select locations throughout the world. And it's the United States and several foreign countries. And this is something new and it's going to be amazing. You're going to like it. So we're going to go through that. So first of all, we're going to do a location search. So it's important that when you're doing research, that you look at all the different levels or jurisdictions of the government where your family lived. In the United States, we do most of our research since 1850 in government records. That's where the records are. But in foreign countries, the churches, the state church was most of the time given the responsibility of keeping the records. So you need to learn about that. What jurisdictions are there? And also what the jurisdiction was at the time of the event. You're not going to look for someone in a new county that it wasn't that county when they were born. You're going to look at the old county because that's where the records are going to be. And so that's why you use the wiki. You need to find out when counties changed, when they made them bigger or smaller, or when, just the different years and what happened. So we'll be seeing all of that in just a minute. They didn't have copy machines, darn them, back then. They didn't have computers. And so what they did is a lot of their things were kept in books, and they made a copy for them, and they copied that for somebody else. So they had two books going on. And they would, when that book was filled up or it was time to send it in, they send it to wherever it was that they were supposed to send that record, the next jurisdiction. And you'll never know if everything's exactly right, because you don't know if it's the same person that did it, if maybe they were, what's the word? Interrupted when they were making it and they came back and didn't get started right the same place, all different kinds of things. I found different birth records in ledgers that were sent to the state that weren't in the county where my family was born. And so you just need to look at all the jurisdictions to make sure that you're covering all your bases, because you never know what you will find. So in foreign countries, because they gave the government I'm just looking at this one. Because they gave the government the they gave the church the responsibility, you need to learn how the church works. Most of the time, the small area was the parish, and then it would go to a diocese, and then it depends on the country and the time frame. Some of them had counties, some of them had states, some of them had other jurisdictions. So as you look at the wiki, it's going to explain that of the different places that you're doing research so that you know where to look. So we're going to show some of that in just a minute. So we're going to look first at a foreign country so that you can see what a foreign country. So to get to the wiki, you click on search, and I forgot to put that on your handout. So you go to search, you click on it, you get the down box, and you come down to research wiki, and it's going to take you to the research wiki, supposedly. Oh, it's going, okay. So this is the research wiki. Right here, I'm going to type in the location that I'm looking for. I'm going to go to Norway right now because it's real interesting. Here I'm doing this class on the research wiki, and I'm helping our son-in-law learn some stuff about his family. He is not a member of the church. None of his family are. So they don't have a lot of this information. And so this week I've been helping him. So I've had to use the research wiki a whole lot. So it's really nice. So I'm typing Norway because that's where his family came from. And I have family from Norway, but it's a hard one to do. So this is the page in the wiki on Norway. And almost all the pages look basically the same. You'll have, if it's a country, you'll have the flag. If it's a state, you'll have the flag. You have different information over here, getting started, things to know, how to get going, research tools, record types, all kinds of things. All of these blue links it will take you to another page on the wiki explaining about that topic or that type of record. So here's a map of Norway, and it shows the counties, and it's had some changes. Here's the old counties, what they used to be, and this is what the new name is. So if you're doing old research, you're going to go by the old counties, and you need to know those names. If it's newer, you need to do it right here. And in 2020, just last year, Norway made some changes even to some other parishes and counties and stuff. And so it's even changed. Len, it's freezing in here. Would you please up the thing? Sorry, are you guys cold? Yeah, it is freezing. So just turn it up and we'll bring it down if it gets too hot. I mean, yeah. So you can click on.
Does every country have the old and new?
Well, no, every country has maps about their country, but it depends on if there's old and new. Germany has ones from before World War II and after World War II and before World War I, because everything changes. It just depends on. That's why you want to go to the wiki for every place that your family ever lived.
But does it tell you what old is?
On the page it will, on the wiki, yeah. So I'll see if we can go there in just a minute. So this is a map. I can click on each one of these. It's a hot link because my little finger, or I can go down here and here's the same names that are up on the map. This just shows where they are. You can't tell here, but clicking on them. Here's the 2020 county mergers. They merged some counties, so you can see. So just last year, I mean, this is, you know, big time stuff. Here's parishes in Norway, and there's thousands of parishes. How many in Sweden, Lynn? 2,500 parishes in Sweden, and probably the same in Norway because they're basically set up a lot the same thing. So every single one of these are things that will help you to do research in Norway. So I knew I'm going to go to the parish. I knew the parish that they lived in. So I'm going to go to the parish list. And it talks about the parishes again, and it's going to talk about them here. So I know that the parish was ED and then an O like this O with the line through it, Y. So I'm going to go find ED, OY. We're going to go down
How do you know it's ED or what?
because I found it on some records. I can't go through the whole way of how I found it, but I'm just telling you that I found that that's the parish they were living in. So here it is. I click on it. Now it's taking me to a page in the Wiki about this parish. It's going to talk all about it. It's going to talk about the church records. Right over here, it gives you some information. Census records. It talks about all the different censuses in that parish. The farm books, all the farm names that are in there. This is all information just about that one little parish that I knew nothing about yesterday morning until I came here. But look what it had right here. Here's digital images online for free at Digital Archivet. That's their Norway's archives online for this Edoy, or however you say it, the different years. And so Edoy is the parish. Then this is like the different neighborhoods in that parish, kind of like Power Ranch, kind of like, what's another one? Santan Ranch, things. I mean, it breaks the parish even down smaller. I didn't know where it was, so I was looking in Edoy because I thought maybe that's where it was. Couldn't find them. So then I came down here and clicked on it, and there they were. The whole family with the different years. I had to go through it, but this took me to that website, and now I can go in and do research on that website. I never would have been able to do this had I not gone to the wiki and found that article about doing research in this area. So let's go back to the Norwegian page. It's parishes. Keep going back. But there's all these different backgrounds to give you information about Norway, but also here's the different record types. If I want to learn about court records, if I want to learn about cemeteries there, I want to learn about the military. Remember, when people leave, they immigrate. So here it is, leaving, immigrate is moving to, and immigrate is leaving. So if I want to know about immigration, because a huge amount, plus this family I'm looking at, they immigrated to the United States. So this will give me information. Yes, what did you say? Oh, EM is leaving and IM is coming in. Okay, sorry. I always get that mixed up. So if I clicked on that, that would just take me to the page on the wiki that's talking about immigration out and in of Norway. Now, why this is so important is every country has their own laws and what you had to do to leave and where you can find the information. So it's really important that you do this wiki search on the area where your family was living. So that's Norway and Edoy. So now what we're going to do is I want you to see United States genealogy, what to do in the United States. And this is one you need to become very familiar with. because it's going to explain how things are done in the United States on a federal government level. And then each state has their own way of doing things. So the government had certain ways, and then the states had to do it a different way. So you're going to go down, this is the different states. You can either click on here or come down here and click on a state. Talks about the territories and the former territories. Research tools, different things about the United States, plus it has all of these records right up here. So remember naturalization and citizenship. We're going to look at that because there's been different things from the beginning. So before 1906, this talks about if somebody came into the United States, what they asked them and what was where the records are. And they only asked before 1906, this is all it said, name of the immigrant, the resident of the immigrant, and the country of origin. That's all it said on the immigration records. But then sometimes it had this because it was part of the passenger list. But after 1906, look what they asked people on the passenger list. That's a lot of stuff that you didn't have before 1906. So if you're looking for the person's occupation and they came in 1898, are you going to find it on the immigration records? You aren't, but you will if they came after 1906. And so this is why you look at the wiki and learn how to use it so that you don't spend time spinning your wheels and getting angry because they don't have what it is. Right here, no parents are listed. In the United States, there's 3 levels or 3 things that you have to do as you're becoming naturalized. And it's going to talk about it. Between 1790 and 1906, there was one way you did it. After 1906, it was a different way. Declaration of intention, that is when you came off the ship, you said, I want to become a citizen. They could do that any place they wanted. And so lots of immigrants came off the ship in New York and went right away and said, I want to become an immigrant. That record is in New York City and they ended up in North Dakota. And so you're wondering, where do you look for it? It's very hard to find those records. Petition. Then the next thing they did is they had to wait a period of years before they could petition and say, yes, I'm ready to do it. And then they would say, that's their declaration I want. I mean, declaration was the first part. Petition was when they filled out the paperwork and said, yes, I want to do it. And then the certificate was after that, they had to do an oath of allegiance to the United States and become a citizen. And so right here, this is going to tell you all that after 1906, what you have to do. Look at all the stuff you had to do after 1906. That's what all the aliens have to do. Before that, you didn't have very much at all. So then once you do the naturalization in the United States and learn how it goes, then you go to the state where they ended up living and seeing what it is. Because on the census records, sometimes it says, starting about 1900, it says, how long have you lived in the United States and are you a citizen? And they'll put PA means papers. That means that second thing has been, their paperwork has been sent in, they're waiting to finish. Sometimes it says NA, meaning they're naturalized. They've all gone through it. They're citizens now. And so those are on the different census records so that you can kind of know the years that they became citizens so you can start looking for the information or their papers if you're interested in the citizenship, getting those papers for whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't change anything, but it's fun to see them and put them, attach them to them. But look at all this. Do you see all this? This is just about naturalization in the United States. Did you know that in 1922, citizenship was no longer automatic for a woman? When her husband became a citizen, up until 1922, she automatically got it and did not have to do any paperwork. The husband and any children under the age of 18 were automatically became citizens. In 1922, that changed and women had to start their own process of citizenship. So they didn't get to tag on to their husband's coattails. Also, where is it? Let's see. Can't find
Gary
it.
said that if a United States citizen woman married an alien,
That's it.
she could.
She lost her
Yeah,
citizenship.
She lost her citizenship. Next paragraph down.
Oh, from 1907 to 1922, thanks. That's when a woman who was born in the United States married an alien. She lost her citizenship. So on the census, it would say, are you a citizen of the United States? And she would have to put no, and you would say, but she was born here. Unless you read it on here, you wouldn't know that. And then you would wonder, how come she's not a citizen? But then you see. So 1922, then she had to reapply to become a citizen, even though she was born in the country. It's just crazy. But that's what the wiki is so wonderful for. All right, so I want you to give me a state. No, give me a country. Somebody give me a country you want to look at the wiki page for.
Germany.
Okay, let's go to Germany. Germany is one of the best ones to show. Germany. Okay, here's the Germany genealogy page, and it comes up and there's your map. It's got a lot of the same things that you've seen on all the other websites. Here's the record types, beginning to do research, all those record types. Here's background information, how to learn about Germany. Then you come down. Okay, where's my map? Okay, here's what I was talking about. Here is what the German Empire was from 1871 to 1918. And it was called Prussia sometimes, you'll know, because the different world wars, it was called different things, and people always put on the census record, sometimes they said they were from Germany. Sometimes they said they were from Prussia. Sometimes they said they were from other places. So this gives you an idea of what places were during those years. Here's the second one. This is Prussia, what was considered Prussia. Then your city-states. And then here's the modern German map, 1945 to the present, that shows the different states. I guess they're considered states. And then 1918 and 1946, these are how the boundaries changed again. So you wouldn't know that if you didn't go to the wiki, and you can come right here and read all about it. This is the only way I know of finding things. You can go on Google probably and find some of it, but it takes you a lot longer than just coming to the wiki and finding all the different things, the different topics. So if you're on Germany and you want to know, right here, going up into the top where all those records are. If you have family that came from Germany, here's the immigration that's going to tell how they left Germany, what they had to do. Did you know that Germans had to get okay before they left? They had to go to the police station and they had to fill out a piece of paper saying where they were going. And so you can get to those if you know where they lived, and it tells you about that in here. This is going to talk about your probate records. It's going to talk about your, where's the birth, church records, civil registration. When you talk about birth, marriage, and death in any country besides the United States, it's called civil registration. But in the United States, it's called vital records. So you'll see the difference. So there's no vital records here, but there's civil registration. If you go to the United States page, it will be down under vital records and not civil registration. So here's the Germany one. And if you click on any of these, it'll take like church history. It'll take you to, again, the wiki page for Germany church history. It's going to talk about the Roman Catholics, the Lutheran Church, other Christian groups. And then all down here, these are related articles that you can even click on. So most people who are like professional genealogists have this in the background all the time, wiki, so that they can just go right to it, because You always have questions. There's not anybody that can learn it all. There's too much in genealogy and family history. And it changes, and everybody's in a different time period, in a different location, whatever. Okay, so there's a page, remember, for every country. There's a page for every state in the United States and the Canada, what are provinces in Canada, and then lots of foreign countries. So give me a state. Let's go to a state. Who wants to look at a state one? Oregon, okay. So up come a bunch of, oh, this automatic, sometimes it automatically goes to the genealogy page. Sometimes it gives you a whole bunch of different things that you get to choose from, but this took us to the genealogy page. So again, it's set up like the other ones. You have some getting started, how to do research, the different record types. This is the Oregon state flag. Here's the state and all the counties. These are the counties that are now. Here's the extinct or renamed counties. So maybe you didn't know that unless you came to this. Here's some county record collections that are on Family Search. No, that are off of Family Search. If you see this little arrow going, that means it's off of Family Search. If it doesn't have that, like this doesn't have one of those little arrows, that means it stays in Family Search on the Wiki. If you click on one of these, it takes you to a different offsite. Oh, it doesn't. That's what it's supposed to do. Take you to a different offsite thing, location. But here's like the Oregon Trail, additional resources for things. This is just basically Oregon by itself. And then if you wanted to go to a county within it, you would click on here or go down here and it would take you to that. So that's going to go to the county. The county's set up a lot the same. It shows where it is on the Oregon map and it shows where Oregon is in the United States. Here are those same kind of topics that are usually on the right-hand side, but when you get down to counties and cities, it's going to switch over to the left. But it's going to tell you like this county in Oregon, these are the dates that records started being kept there. So
Okay,
birth records in 1907.
If you click on marriage, will those records come up? Or is this just telling you they have marriage records?
Let's see, is it going around? Is it thinking? This means that marriage records were started being kept by this county in 1880.
Okay. It doesn't actually.
Well,
This is
it
not
may
where you're
down,
gonna find the record.
well, you won't find the record, but you may find a link to those records. Down here, we're gonna go, let me show you. We're gonna keep going down. Here's your vital records. So right here, many early marriages are listed, Western states. I mean, there's the birth records. You just have to keep coming down. I mean, every page is going to be different according to what they have. So it just depends on, so you just keep coming down. There was something I was going to tell you. Let me see if I remember as I go back up.
Just in case anyone's got any relatives in Virginia or West Virginia. West Virginia was part of Virginia. So if you go earlier than 1863, you have to look into the Virginia. In June of 1863, West Virginia seceded from Virginia and made a separate state. So your records could be some in West Virginia, some in Virginia. Interesting.
Okay, so every page is going to have one of these that says online genealogy records. You click on that. But please do me a favor, before you click on that, look down here and see all the different things there are, because I promise you, once you click this, you're going to be in la la land and you're going to be in records looking online at different records, and you're going to not see all the other things that there are. So this is getting down the rabbit hole, because what it does is it brings it up and here's all the different links to all the different vital records and stuff that there are about Oregon. So you were wondering if the records, here's the records that you were wondering about,
Yeah.
but it's on that online. But you want to go down below and learn about it before you start clicking on it, because you may not, it may not fit the time period or whatever you need. All right, so that's location. So you want to do the different jurisdictions. You want to do either the country, and then you want to do the state, and then you want to do the counties where they live, so that you can see all the different jurisdictions, the different ways that records were kept. And I remember what I was going to tell you. Marriage records are usually kept on the county level. Birth records are kept at the state. And so those in the US. So marriage records are kept on a county level, and birth records are on a state level. Doesn't always have, I mean, they may have copies at the other jurisdictions, but that's who is in charge of the records for the states.
Say that again, marriage
Marriage
is
is county.
County, birth is state. Okay, so now we're going to talk about topics. Let's go back a little bit to. Here we are. We're going to look at topics. Here we are in Oregon. Topics are these. If you have a question about a particular record type, over here, see
Could you
these are
please
record
close
types.
that door, because the bad air coming in is killing my asthma.
I thought I closed it.
Well,
Oh.
unfortunately, it smells in here rather than get out.
The record types, if you have a question about what this record type is, then you click on it and take it. So this is where you find the topics. All of these are different topics that you can click on and find out, and go to the research wiki. So for instance, oh, I told you about how we went to the naturalization and citizenship. I'm going to go to Michigan, because that's where, I mean, excuse me, Minnesota. That's where I was yesterday. Here's Minnesota, United States genealogy. So I came down here to naturalization and citizenship, and I learned about, I don't know what this blank part is. Oh, I know, it's because my screen has been, it shrunk to get it on here, and so it makes everything down, so. So the naturalization process, I was looking at that, but what I was trying to find out, oh man, it really makes it crazy. This isn't what it generally looks like, so it's hard to find. Right here, the naturalization index. The person that I'm looking for in the 1930 census, well, the 1920 census, he said that he had already put in his papers to become naturalized. So it said PA. So I knew he hadn't finished, so he needed to finish. That was 1920. So by 1930, it said he was naturalized in the column on the census that asked if you're naturalized. And he said NA for naturalized. So I knew that sometime between 1920 and 1930 he had naturalized. So I came in here and was looking for his naturalization index. Now, right here, 1930, that doesn't do me any good. Why? Because by 1930, he was already naturalized, so he's not in here. So these didn't do me any good, but maybe one of these will. I looked here.
If he was naturalized in 1930, wouldn't those papers be there in 1930?
No, because it said it started in 1930 to 1988. He was already at, his papers aren't going to be there. It happened before 1930, so they're not going to go back and get him. He was already naturalized. If he was naturalized, if he started and he didn't get naturalized until 1931, yes, but in 1930, he was already naturalized, so it's not going to be there. It's going to be under like one of these, 19 up to 1920. That may be where his first papers and second papers are, because I know he came directly from Ontario, Canada to Minneapolis. So we didn't stop any place to start the process any other location.
And $sign means.
That goes to a website that that's a subscription one. If it's Ancestry, and it might be Ancestry and it might be something else. It's Minnesota, this is Ancestry, I can get to it because we have that free access to Ancestry. There's another one down here that I was doing,
How do you
like,
get to that spot in Ancestry? You click on Ancestry?
no, I clicked on here and it automatically takes you there.
Oh, you
And
knew that was Ancestry.
No, I didn't until I clicked on it, but it took me there and then I saw. All right, let me show you. This is an Ancestry right here, ancestry.com. So this is an Ancestry page.
So this is, the thing you're searching for there is the name that you were looking on.
So I can see,
Not logging you into Ancestry.
well, I was already logged into Ancestry because I don't ever get out. I always say, remember me, so it always gets me in. If you don't do that, it won't bring you up. It'll say you have to log in. So an event. So we've talked about topic, we've talked about record type. We're going to talk about event now in the. So let's say I want to learn about the Civil War. Turn that off or something. It is so cold in here. I don't know. Are you guys absolutely freezing?
Yes.
It is freezing. Just turn it off and then it'll warm us up.
Three, yes.
It's as high up as it'll go. I'm
Well,
shivering.
sometimes it's where you're sitting. If you're sitting right under the air conditioner vent, yes. But if you go up to that chair, you would not have it hitting you directly on top of you.
Okay, so here's the Civil War. Notice right here, there's several pages. This is, if it was out bigger, it probably would tell us that it was page 1, but it's not. So it's going to talk about the Civil War. Look at all the stuff it's going to tell you about it. All of these are, again, hot links to take you there. Look at all this. This will tell you about Michigan. I'm pointing to this Michigan. If you click on that, that's going to take you to a page on the wiki that talks about the Civil War in Michigan, because we're on the Civil War page. It's not going to talk about birth and marriages, and it's not going to talk about land records. It's going to talk about the Civil War in Michigan, because that's the page we're on, is about the Civil War. So it breaks it down into the page where you're already starting from.
Why
This
is
is
that map different colors?
because it shows that right here, blue is the northern states,
Oh, okay.
the orange
Got it.
is the southern states, and the yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
So it just helps you with this. This is so weird that it's so mixed up, because this is not what it looks like when you generally see it. So, but if you know that your family was part of the Civil War, there's a whole section on the Union side. There's a whole section on the Confederate side. You can go, I don't know if they changed it, because they used to have part 1, part 2, and part 3. And I don't see that now.
When she pulls that back up, you'll see that Virginia and West Virginia is almost.
So that's how you do topics. Events like the Civil War, World War I, World War II. If you have family that you would like to kind of get interested in family history, and they're not really interested, but they like things like history and things, show them how to look for the topics they like in history about this, like the French Revolution. They can do a search on the wiki about the French Revolution, and they'll have all kinds of stuff that'll keep them happy for a long time doing research, or different battles or whatever. And it helps them. And then they're going to say, oh, I wonder if any of my relatives were in the Civil War or World War I or whatever. And so it helps connect people in a different way than just names on a piece of paper that they're not interested in. Also, research helps and resources finding on Family Search. And so each page, let's go back. Let's do another one. Let's do Arizona just because I'm. So we're Arizona genealogy page. So each state and each country has some research helps right here, beginning research, how to start doing beginning research in family history. And here's research helps for Arizona. And here's Arizona research tools. And you'll have the same sections in each state or each country where it says getting started in Germany, getting started in Wyoming, Arizona research tools, it will say research tools in Germany or in Sweden. And what it has is, depending on where you're doing it, if it's a foreign language, they will have down here, they will have, you can click on it and get to foreign language word lists. So it says what it is in that language and what it is in English, so that you can read documents and go in and say, oh, I see this word. You're not reading a book. You're not reading big documents. You're reading church records where it shows mother, father, farmer, all those different things. It's just those kinds of terms. Instead of, you can't read a book by doing that, but you can look at records and make them up, figure them out. So Arizona research tools, that would be whatever research tools for whatever country or state you're looking at. One thing that you will see that I want you to see, and it's at most countries and the states in the United States and the provinces in Canada, right here under beginning research is this record finder. This is really good. Let me show you what it is. It comes up with, now this generally is clear across, but because we've shrunk it up, it's bringing it down. If you are searching for someone's birth date and birthplace, the best records to search are these records: vital records, church records, cemeteries, newspapers, and obituaries.
In
If-
that particular state, is that right?
Yes. And if I click on vital records, it's going to take me to a wiki page about vital records. Now remember, we're in Arizona. I don't know if it goes to ones about, yep, it goes to Arizona vital records. So it's not just vital records, but it's the vital records for that location where you're looking so that you can find them. So let's
So
go
you
back.
can actually get in there and get the birth
You can find, you can,
from almost up to today's date.
not today's date, because every state has a cutoff when
Go
they
back,
can do it.
go back down to that,
So record finder was when you went to that state's page or country's page. It was,
Yeah, it's under beginning research right there. So here's Arizona.
so the birth records go through 1889 to present.
Well, it depends on if their present is whatever their cutoff date is. Because they don't put up stuff for, anyway, most of the states don't, like for 2020, they're not gonna have the babies born up
No,
there.
but I mean, if you had a kid that was, say, 12 years old, they should be.
Maybe,
covered
yeah.
in the same way with the divorce records should be up to at least
No, it
5
doesn't,
years ago.
no, it doesn't give any years here, so it's not saying anything. It's just saying divorce records. And then you would go in there and it's gonna talk about it and it's gonna give you, see the divorce records. Here's the, let's see
So
you
we
may
send it
obtain
to
a
link?
certified copy of a birth certificate for a birth that occurred in Arizona after 1889, but you're gonna have to pay for it. That just gives you the link to get to it. Like I said, that doesn't mean that the record's gonna be there.
See,
It's just
all I
gonna,
need is, I don't need the record, I just need the dates.
well, sometimes you have to get it through a record because that's the only way they'll do it. So then if you can't find a birth date in these different locations, then this is an alternative record, and Bible records or census records. And remember again, this record finder is always at the top under beginning research in that area, and it's only going to be talking about that state or that country. So if you change locations, you're gonna have to go to a different record finder at that location, that different state or whatever.
So are Bible records considered a primary?
Depends on,
Would it be like
the
in
Bible.
Germany, because the church was the main?
But these are coming from family Bibles most of the time, that's written in a Bible.
So some of them can be primary and others.
Most of them are not considered primary because you look at the Bible, and if it's all the same handwriting, then somebody did it later after the events. Or if you look at the Bible and it was 1935 and the people were born in 1800, it can't be written at the time of the. So there's all kinds of things that you have to look at. But it's a source. I mean, it is a source. It's just probably a secondary source.
And if it's the only source you have, you can use it.
And you put down there what it is. You say, I found it in a Bible,
Right.
so that people know that that date was found in a Bible, not on a birth certificate.
So where would you use primary or secondary? Would you be typing that in any place, or would you be going to a particular website that's called primary or secondary?
No, it's just
You're
the
just
type
way
of
of thinking.
record. It's the type of record.
Okay, it's
So-
a way of thinking of it, you don't ever really write down, this is a primary source.
Well, the database that I have, the software database that I use, asks, is this a primary source or a secondary source? And I can put it right there on it and put it there so that I know, so that other people know. So it just depends
Well, in
on. but-
sources for church, for temple work, I think should you put whether it's primary or secondary source, or does it matter?
Well, there's no place to put that it's a primary or secondary source. You just know
You
what it
just write
is.
it.
And you get to learn that, like if you use a lot of temple work is done because people find census records and it says they're 10 years old. So they go back 10 years from that census and say that's when they were born. That is not a primary source. That's a secondary source. You have no idea if that's right or not. And so people use that because they don't have anything else, but we really, really try. That's why the church is putting all these records up, all these birth records, all these death records, all these whatever records, so that you have a primary source, a source that was created at the time that they were born or married or died or find a grave. The only thing that find a grave is a primary source for is where that person is buried. It's not a primary source, even though the headstone's there and it gives a birth date, a birth year and a death date or a death year. That does not prove that that's happened. What if the guy making the headstone goofed and put the wrong date on there? The people didn't have enough money to buy a new one, so they say, it doesn't matter because he's already dead, and put it up there. So that's just, you learn after you've done it a while what things are really reliable and what things are not, or what things are reliable for some things and not reliable for other things.
The census is not always reliable.
The only thing that a census is reliable for, the only thing, is the location that family was living that day that the census was taken. It's not even reliable for the names on the census because you don't know who gave them the names. It could have been the next door neighbor because they were paid to finish the census. And if the family wasn't there, they may have knocked on the door next door or across the street and said, do you know anything about this family? Yeah, they have a little boy. His name's Johnny and he's about 8. And, you don't have any idea. So, and women tend to age about 8 years every 10, and men aged about 12 every 10. So it's just interesting. Okay, so that is the research helps and the record finder. Remember, it's up here, record finder. Okay. Now the last one to do is, one thing on here. Like if you want to learn how to organize your paper files or organize your computer files. See if that works. Organizing your files. You can go on here and read all the ways to do stuff. I mean, you can just look and look and look and look. Well, let's see how many there are. Where does it say?
I'm sure there are a lot.
So these are just what people have come up with and their ideas on how to do it.
Or things that Family Search puts up there. Where is it? Oh, that's not what I want. I want to show them how many records. Let's go back to the Wiki home. There's 96,091 articles in the Wiki. So that's a lot of articles, a lot of things that people have been writing about. So, okay, the last thing, two things. One is guided research, and I forgot to put this on your paper, so watch what this is. You click on this, you're on the home page for Wiki. You see we're on the home page for Family Search Research Wiki. You click on guided research. These are the countries that are available. Oh my goodness, they've changed this. Too bad I didn't come on yesterday and do this.
So you don't find it on the homepage?
It is on the homepage. You just click on guided research, but it used to be that there were only a few countries that had guided research. They now have all of these.
Oh, wow.
So what you do is you go to the United States and you say, okay, I have a relative in Nebraska, and you click on Nebraska. And it's going to take you to the guided research section. And if you want to learn about birth records in Nebraska, it's going to bring them up, or marriage records or death records. And then it will take you through, if you want to find out birth records, it's going to talk a little bit about it, marriage records, and it will have different links, some of them. Each one is going to be different because each state is different, each country is different. They did not have all of this a week ago, so yeah. But that's guided research. So where you find it is you're on the Wiki. You've come to search and gone to the research Wiki. You're on the home page. You come right over here to guided research. So the United States will be all the states in the United States. But if you want a country, if you're doing Italy research, click on Italy. And it's going to, if you know the province, then you click on that because it's going to take you right to the province. If you don't know, then it's going to help you to learn what province they came from, because again, it's like you have to know where they lived before you know if you found them, what you're looking. So that's guided research. That's really cool, and it's changed totally in the last week. So that's all I'm going to give you. So remember, Len went back. He took you to this page with all the record collections. If you click on here, there's 3,055 record collections on Family Search that you can get to. Each one of these has a wiki page explaining about the collection, what to find, what maybe you won't be able to find.
Okay, so if I click on one, it will take me to the wiki page?
Yes, no, not yet. It will take you to that. Let me show you what's going to do. I have one that I want you to go to.
I take it there alphabetically.
Yes. You can also go over here. Do you see you can choose the area or the time period?
Oh, look at Bolivian marriages.
But I'm going to go down here. Okay, California. Which one am I? I don't know.
So will I find my marriage there?
Right here. I don't know. You'll have to look. So here's the California Death Index. It brings you that. I clicked on that and it brings us to that record collection. This is where you put the information in and find your person. But what you want to do is you want to come up here that says how to use this collection. When you click on how to use this collection, it takes you to the wiki page. Here we are, research wiki page about this collection. Talks about what it is. And there's codes on this. This is what the collection looks like. There, right here. This is a sample page. Look at that. That's a microfiche and they've taken a picture of it. So you have to figure out what this age. This is the age. Well, it's in a code. The code of where they lived right here is the county is code 70. You have no idea where that is. So all of these things have codes. So what you do is you go back and you come up here. Remember it said code 70 was the county. So now I know it's Los Angeles City is where that death took place. Up here, the codes it gave, I can't remember, it gave this. So the first column is how many years, the second column is how many months, days, hours, or minutes. So when that came up, let's look at it again real quickly and then I'm done. Okay, she's 168. So let's go back. 168. I always get mixed up on this, so I hope. She was 68 years because 1 means it was in years and the 68 was the years. If it said 2 and it was 2 and then 3, it would mean that the person was 3 months old when they died. And if they put 3, it's how many days, how many minutes, or whatever. So that the number 1 in the first column is one of these telling you if it's years, months, days, or whatever. And the next one is whatever the number is. But I wouldn't have known that had I not come to this page. So it's really important that you come in and look at the Wiki page again. At the top of every record collection like this, it says how to use this collection. And it goes to that Wiki page. All right, so I've given you enough for about a year's worth of going home and looking at. Any questions that I can answer?
Frustration.
When can you come over and explain
We
this
will
to me
come
again?
over. See, that's what's really good about calling us or your ward family history consultants, because then we can sit down, instead of talking about California Death Index that has nothing to do with you, we can go find a record collection that you need to look at and help you see how it is. But we can't do that when this, room is full of people. Okay, so thanks for coming. We've enjoyed the 3
Appreciate
weeks.
your help and work. This is great.
Okay, one last thing is, for anybody that needs some assistance, let us know specifically what you need, and we'll try to help you, or at least we'll find somebody to help you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sign out now.
Now, I've tried to get a hold of our ward person and I don't, he won't return calls. So maybe they're on vacation.
If you want to give us your telephone.
Thank you.
Just go to the state directory and you'll find them on the state directory. Thank you. Appreciate your help.